Welcome back to another episode of the Adult Talk, where we discuss every topics that adult will talk. So, after you listen to this podcast, you go out, you won't sound like a ginakia anymore. And beside me is Guan.
Hi.
And here we have Prestine. We will discuss about the future of work, because I realize the working culture has been very different from 10 years ago, especially for me, right? I graduated during COVID, so ever since I started working, it's work from home already. So this work from home culture, my boss don't see me, they don't measure my performance by working hours anymore. It's like they want to see results only. I think this starts to be a norm, especially after COVID, even when working culture has become like hybrid. Sometimes they want to build like team culture, but they still don't want to see you every day. Or some they do like remote working where they don't see you anymore. It become even more outcome based, and now where everyone talk about AI replacing human, we are expecting things to be even more outcome based. Is it that my boss don't see me? They won't care if my job is done by AI or me. Anyway, today we will have Prestine from MalaysianPAYGAP, who expose people's salary, to talk about this topic. I think she's the perfect person on this.
I'm not sure whether I'm a perfect person because I'm so not corporate seasoned. I'm such an idealist, you know. I think there's also another point is more capitalist, that kind of corporate culture. So that one is underrepresented. We just need to make sure that everybody knows this.
So maybe you're less biased if you're not from that perspective, right?
I think I'm more biased on the rising of future of work, in my perspective.
Yeah, I feel like Pristine will be a very good person to discuss this with, because your audience are mostly the younger generation.
Yeah.
And actually for the future of work, the younger one will be the most impact one compared to the experienced people.
Yeah. Our taste and preference is actually shaping how is it going to be.
Yeah, and you have the full picture of from the young one to the old one, right?
Yes.
And most importantly, you have the data.
Yes. And PayGap office itself is the future of work in many people's eyes.
Great.
Yeah, we do a lot of
Before that, we'll go into
weird
that.
things.
Tell us more about like what you do first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What I do? So I founded MalaysianPAYGAP. It is a community who just gather people in the workforce to talk about workplace problems. We want to make sure that people feel heard, people feel seen, and we do it through salary transparency, but I would say it's more like career transparency. Usually we started off as getting people to anonymously share their salary, but apart from sharing salary, I think what brings people together on MalaysianPAYGAP is the career story. People sharing what brings them joy or tears during their career progression. Yeah. And then now we have a website. We got funded last year to come up with a website. Previously, we were using Google Data Studio to compile data and just publish it, but it's not very user-friendly. So now we have a website where people can just easily search for any job role that they want to research into on our database, and then they can see a salary snapshot, and they could also access to different career stories. And eventually, what the coders are building right now is once you have your personal profile, you get to see your own career insights.
Oh.
Yeah. We can't wait to launch this because I feel like this part makes sense. What we have right now is too basic. If you want to see the basic version, please go to paygap.asia.
Actually, how long have you been doing this?
I feel so long. Since 2022. We started 2022, February 22nd. It's all the
So you started by yourself, just
Yeah.
you alone.
Yeah.
And since when you start building a team?
Actually, since very early on, after we started the page, it went viral very quickly. And then I realized that people can only have a conversation after I make a post. Then they comment. And it's very centralized. So I would know that I need to build something that decentralizes people, and then they should have their own freedom to host their own discussion. So I started to look into Slack. But Slack wasn't that good, and then people are DMing me and say I should consider Discord. So we moved on to Discord. But I wasn't very familiar with Discord, and we had multiple volunteers who come and help. So that's the first shape of the team. Everybody was a volunteer.
So now you have a team from what we know.
Finally.
Yeah.
How many of you
yeah,
in
how
the
many
team?
of you there?
Right now we have 2 full-time, including myself, and then 5 part-time.
Okay, wait. Since you're promoting like salary transparency,
Yeah.
how much are you paying yourself and your team?
I'm paying
If you don't mind
myself 7,000, but take home becomes 5.8. Surprisingly, because previously I was never on payroll, so I'm very surprised that wow, I pay myself that much.
Finally get
But
paid.
how come I get home this little? And then our BD 5,000, and then take home I think 4.8 something, and then our developers each 3,000. Your UX designer is on project basis. If we have a page that he has to design, then he will code us. But we never really negotiate because I think that they are already giving us kindness quotation.
The right price that they think they deserve.
Yeah, then I will just pay up. They join MalaysianPAYGAP because of shared values, and money is not their main thing. And I also think that okay, this is it's a blessing, but it's also a weird point. I realized that everybody in the team, they have some sort of privilege.
Oh.
Yeah, they do not need to concern much about money. Like for the part-time crew, they have their full-time job that pays them really well. They are in a good place in their career. That's why they could have that time and space to work on something that means a lot to them.
Do you mean they're still working at 2 jobs right now?
Yeah.
Is this a
So
norm?
this is like their hobby project.
It is
Yeah.
their hobby project, which can be a problem for MalaysianPAYGAP. That means that whatever that we build is gonna be slower.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But people that are building it, they are building it with passion.
Yes,
On a good
definitely. And
side.
then the trust is like 110%.
Do you have a space now?
We do have a space, but we don't require everyone to come always.
What's
I
your
would
own
say,
preference?
Actually, I think it is weird that I'm supposed to be a boss, right? But I'm so grateful that people are working for me, so I let them have their preference.
Because you want to have your own way of working too.
Yeah,
so you
I
don't
think-
expect to see them in office every day.
No, there's no such expectation.
But then how do you build a team then? If
We
you're not
will.
in a-
Oh, actually, if my tech team is watching this, I'm so glad they found out this way and not me communicating with them one-on-one. So I'm so scared to manage my tech team because I'm non-tech founder, right? I feel like they know the best, and I'm so scared to lead them. But this is my biggest weakness. So they are self-organizing themselves right now. If there's a ticket,
And do
then
they
they will
know
do
each
it.
other before this?
Yeah, they used to be co-workers, and
I
then
see.
they are in the
Okay.
same industry. Yeah. So
like
that's very
you
bad.
you just let them sort it out themselves.
I let them sort it out themselves, but it shouldn't be like that. I think I should take more initiative to organize more face-to-face group meetings. But I'm always concerned that I cause you inconvenience. Like you have your day job Monday through Friday, and then weekend you have that little time to spend with your friends, and I'm still calling you in on a Sunday. I feel like that's not too nice.
And they are all Malaysians.
They're all Malaysians. But then on our operation team, we will schedule office day. And then we'll just put it on the Google Calendar.
How many days do they have to work in office in 1 week?
Twice a week.
Okay.
Yeah. I think if anything more than, because when you're in the office, you're actually talking.
Yeah.
You're chatting a lot instead of working. So I do feel that there are some days that you should reserve to yourself to have the time to have that clarity to just write out proposal or anything.
But how do you measure their performance in this way?
It's outcome based.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't care what are the hours. In fact, we have very flexible
You
hours.
get the job done.
Yeah, we have office day, but we don't set what time you should be in.
But imagine if I'm a fresh grad working with you, I will be expecting like a mentor to lead me or what.
That would
right?
be very tough. But then we also realize that because I've had interviewed so many people in the past in order to get to this current team, I also realized that because I'm so future of work, when candidate ask me a lot of questions about how many days of leave do they get, I don't wish to hire that person somehow because I'm not keeping track.
Do you feel like it's also downstream that because we are in the content creation business, ourselves, we already set our working mode is like always on, and then
Yeah.
and then we don't really care like
Where you
it's
work, how long
outcome-based.
you
It's
work.
outcome based.
Yes.
I don't.
You could
You
be
can go
in-
on leave. You
You can go somewhere
yeah.
else. I don't even care.
Yes,
I just
yes.
need to see the work.
Yes.
Yeah, if you stop coming for 2 days, but you're still delivering me work, I wouldn't say that I'm not gonna pay you 2 days less. I'm still gonna pay you. So when you have that expectation of very traditional workplace structure, then I think my time is very precious. There's
Yeah.
only this set of time that I can have my best energy on, and I do not wish to spend those energy to track you.
But actually, it requires them to be more actively
Has to be
learning,
very
right?
proactive.
Yeah.
Most Malaysia business now is still traditional business, or most of our listeners, they are more corporate. So there's a trend towards work from home. And I believe the main reason they want to work from home is because of Malaysian traffic. It's not because they don't want to go to office.
Yeah.
Speaking on their behalf, because you listen to so many stories, do you see this creating a problem for traditional business? Because our business is very clear, we just want one video, as long as the outcome is out, then it's like can be very clearly determined, like what is the outcome that we want. But most business are not like that.
They need you to
Yeah.
be in office. They need you to be there.
Yeah.
What do you think of this demand for work from home?
I think this demand for work from home, I think the gap is going to be quite big because the demand for work from home is mostly popularized on social media. The producer of social media content is still by a bunch of people like us. We get to dictate how we want our time to be. We can be very idealistic about things, and we are the one churning out the content to influence them. So I think it's going to be really tough when you say that on the other side, the traditional job force is still quite big. So I think for them, they also need to, for those people who are working in the corporates or they have to go to work every day, they also have to understand the disparity. I think they do have the option to choose, but by choosing then means that you cannot be working for like an MNC. Maybe you need to really look into companies who offer you the flexibility. That means that your career trajectory could be different. Companies that could offer you those flexibility might not have a very clear structure for you to climb the ladder,
Yep.
or might not be able to pay as well.
It's not
Yeah.
that stable.
Yeah, it's not that stable.
If you don't come into company, do you see it harder to build a company culture?
Definitely. There's this company, I think it is quite a big startup government link. I've been to their office multiple times, and then I could see that during COVID and MCO, they offer work from home. And when I got to go to their office, I realized that because of that policy, so few people are coming to work, and then their turnover rate become higher. Because people just don't feel that connection and bond with you, right? So there's also that issue.
Sometimes I feel like
Yeah.
it's even harder, especially when you're a small company.
Yeah, and also in a way, we content creator, we are slightly privileged in the sense that people know our values, because we already
It's
tell them,
like
right?
for
and then,
you-
but for small businesses,
Oh yeah, that's true.
that it's even harder for them to
To build that value,
Yeah.
to build that vision, because for you, like you say, right, you attract people that are passionate. They already know your values because you're out there.
Yeah.
But then for people who are not in our space, how do you build that team value? How do you deliver that vision, that message?
I think it's gonna be tough, but I had talked to people with complete remote workspace arrangement. What they do is that their manager will have one-on-one talk to them every day, even
Every
for
day?
15 minutes.
Oh.
Yeah, I think there are a lot of people who work in the Web3 space. They never get to meet their coworkers from other countries, but there's always this one-on-one meeting.
The mentor.
Yeah, and then I think every few months they will also have a team retreat somewhere together.
Do you do team retreats as well?
Not yet.
So for your office is 2 working days in office.
Yeah.
Yeah, every week.
Yeah, we try to aim for that, but sometimes when we have to go out and meet clients, we will count that as one meeting day.
I
As long
see.
as we are face to face, you know.
How do you find it so far?
I think I'm slowly realizing the magic of teamwork. Yeah. In the past, background, I never worked in an office and I was always an independent creative and copywriter. Never needed to depend on people to see the magic of work. I can create that magic myself. So now having team together, I realized that on the day that I could be very tired, but the other person can hold things up. And that's so cool. So we like it so far. And having meet face to face, I think ideas come in free flow conversation.
Yep.
Yeah. So when you get to meet face to face, it also means that your work is not only output, not only outcome. There's also this human respect thing that comes into place that's really precious.
But you need to find the right person.
Yeah, because
Definitely.
some people really will take advantage.
Yes, I just came out from a fresh advantage contractual situation.
Like I can share like my previous work. It's very corporate. We have like 2 work from home days in a week, and we have like 2 teams. So today is you work from home, then the other team you work from office. It's like they will switch.
Take turn.
So sometimes when you need to you need to talk to discuss with another team that is working from home, it's very hard to find them. Especially if you do urgent call, which is not scheduled meeting, they will be at random places. So it's like, I'm fine because if by that time I'm an employee, right? It's like so good for me. I don't even need to go traffic jam, or I can be at by the pool and then meeting. But then after we start
When you become
doing
an employer, it's
when
a
we become
different kind of
employer, then
view.
it's like totally different. Like I trust you, but sometimes I don't get to see the outcome. Then you'll be like,
Yes.
oh, it's like,
Yeah, I mean,
it's like,
if I'm giving you the full flexibility, I mean, at least expect the work to be done.
yeah.
But it becomes like,
And
think-
also our expectation will be higher in a way.
Yeah. I think not every character deserves flexibility
Yeah.
also. I experienced both. In January, I hired somebody and I didn't even negotiate the pay. I feel like she deserved 5K, then I just pay her 5K. And at that time, we weren't making money, And after hiring her, the outcome was so bad. There is nothing that I could see, but then there's a lot of negotiation around that. Oh, I'm not gonna come today, or I'm sick. This isn't my MC, and I think at that time it's the first time I felt like, oh, I'm such a toxic boss. I feel very tempted to just call up this clinic to ask whether it's true. Like, is it bought? Because there's no way that in just 2 weeks I see you all in good health. The next day you are having MC for 3 days, and then there's no outcome. There's a lot of talk. There's a lot of complaint about lack of structure, but there's no work being done. So that, people like that, I think they don't serve well in a smaller, unstructured organization where everybody is expected to
need to
perform
be
their
very
best.
disciplined. Yeah.
Yeah, but if you can find somebody that you can trust, which is my current team,
Yes.
I could be texting, all of a sudden they are at a Pilates somewhere.
Do you think
but that's
it's
fine.
related to their experience? Is because
It's
that they are
work
more
ethic.
senior, experienced. They can do things on their own, so it's okay to let them handle things alone.
I
work
think
from
it's not
home.
about
I don't think
seniority.
it's experience.
It's definitely about work ethic and integrity.
Responsibility.
Yeah, because when you're not entitled anybody to pay you a very good salary, you still need to provide very good value. It's a very honorable exchange, I would say.
And then I feel like another problem with working from home, especially for entry-level workers, because when we work from home, we just graduated. I feel like work from home work best for experienced people because they already know what I need to do, what is the outcome that the boss need. It's like, I already know, and I know what I need to do my best work. But if you're entry level, right, you just enter a business, then you're like,
You need that guide.
yeah,
You need that mentor.
and there's no mentorship at all. Then there's no small talk.
Yeah, I would say
So-
like for myself, if I'm not a proactive person, maybe I'm still at here. If I don't learn things on my own, nobody is there to guide, to lead me. I'm still there, and I do realize that people nowadays most of us prefer flexibility more than
Yeah.
more than a stable income, more than a 9 to 5 job. Everyone wants a freelance job, and it becomes so normal.
Yeah.
But do people deserve that if you know nothing, but you from starting point you already ask for this kind of flexibility?
So it's like on social media when I see you are fresh grad but you're already asking for working from home, I feel like no, it's bad for you.
Yeah,
I feel
true.
Like
In the long run, it's actually bad for that
It's very
person.
bad for you. Why are you asking for that, right?
But I think a hybrid is still healthier for
Hybrid.
workplace. I think with everything in really high population and very high traffic, if commute is a stressor, I think adding on to that stress daily is not healthy. So I think a hybrid mode is definitely the best moving forward.
Or flexible as in they can come to work not at working hours.
I think it depends on the size of the company also. If the company has more people and then if everybody is coming at different timing, I think it wouldn't create a good morale in the company and it wouldn't be as productive. If it's a smaller one, I think that our flexibility would work really well.
In my previous company, we have around 700 people. Yeah, what they do is they have a flexible working arrangement as in from this time to this time, everyone must be in office. It's like no matter what time you come and what time you leave, but these, like, I think it's 10 to 4 p.m. you must be in office. The rest of time is like you can go home after that.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
But it's still quite a long time. I was
Yeah,
expecting
yeah.
maybe like
But even so, people still take
11 to
advantage.
4. Oh.
Yeah, people take advantage. Like, oh, you telling me you can come at 11 and leave at 4. Then I'll just come at 11 and leave. at
Yeah.
4. It's like, I'm not the boss, but I pity the boss.
Oh no. At MPG, we always come around 11 to 11:30, but we will stay until 5 or 7:30. It really depends.
Yeah, I feel like our work is better in the sense that we can, as long as you done it, you finish your job, then you are free to leave.
Yeah, the problem is if we don't guide, then there's a problem.
I think there's also motivation that is being overlooked. Guidance is one thing, but humans generally work better when there's a group of motivated people working together.
Yeah, but if you're not together, it's even harder for you to deliver that
Yes.
message if everything is communicated via phone.
But you know, previously my ex-housemate, she is working at Nestle, and their work from home day seems really productive. She's constantly
Since the beginning?
Yeah,
Constantly meeting.
constantly meeting. Yes.
Right.
Okay.
If you are working
Yeah.
from home, actually you are constantly meeting.
Yeah, and then she said that she actually worked less when she's working from home because it's always scheduled with meetings. But she also doesn't have that flexibility to go to a shopping mall and go to some cafe.
Yeah, but I
Yeah.
feel that's like what I say is the privilege for being experienced.
Oh yeah.
If you are entry level, you don't have
That's
that many
true.
meetings on. Most of the time you are just there, don't know what to do.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah, because you just enter the business, people will just tell you, okay, you do this, then I finish this, then what's next? I cannot straight away ask.
I think there's another aspect that they are losing out on. I could feel it in myself too because in the past I never worked in the office. I do not know how to read people that well. I don't know how to read people in business because I'm lacking those experiences. So I feel like for a fresh grad who wanted to work from home arrangement for the first 2 years, they are also losing out a lot of this human interaction, relationship wisdom that they could have gotten.
Ultimately, I feel like we are moving to a outcome-based workplace.
100%.
Yeah, we the trend is like
Yeah,
moving
is that
towards
why they
there.
say Gen Z is coming to change the working culture? Things are different right now, and now even with AI, you don't know, like, do you feel that any entry level workers will be replaced?
I think there are so many things that Gen Z as a generation is gonna change. I think in the mix of the earth being quite populated, and then mental health become an issue where so many people are living in urban spaces, and then it's so cramped, everything getting so expensive, but then the salary cannot keep up with the inflation, and then AI is coming in also. Everything is forcing a lot of system to be changed.
But do you think this is a problem, financial problem in the longer term?
I'm not sure. I feel like we are in a transition period, and in every transition period, it's very hard to predict. We also have no idea how far AI can go if it's not being regulated. But then my instinct is telling me that wealth gap is just gonna be widened even more, because there are because of AI, so many junior people are not getting jobs. And then a lot of prediction around how AI is just gonna take away a lot of jobs into the workforce. So what are people gonna do? It's so hard to predict at that phase.
Do you use it personally in your business operation?
100%. I think ever since I start to work, even my freelance work is outcome based. Client had a problem, I said that I will solve your problem, and then immediately I get paid before I do the job. And then I finish the job, give them the thing, and then get paid again. So it's always very quick and direct response of outcome based. I think moving into where we are right now, even corporate is getting outcome based, and also because of AI. But there's one slightly bad thing that I could think of with outcome based is that when you so focus on outcome based, you wouldn't want to focus on nurturing. Because you want to hire somebody who can already do the job,
Yes.
who will guarantee that I want A and you're gonna give me A, sometimes even A plus. I'm not gonna grow somebody from, oh, you're giving me C right now, I'm gonna grow you into A plus, because I'm outcome based, I'm not process based. So a lot of people could lose out in that process.
Yeah, it's like time spent on mentoring is time not spent on completing the job, which
Yeah.
can bring me more salary or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, and also I talked to a few friends that work in company that are salary transparent and they only focus on outcome. They shared that their company ultimately become a very China 996 culture kind of company. Because in this kind of system, it only rewards the best performer. And because I don't care how much hours you spend to complete the work, I don't care your hard work, I just want to see outcome. And if I see your outcome is better than the other and you spend a lot of time, let's say, just to complete this outcome, I reward you. And then the next person want to earn the money that you earn, then he or she also become more hardworking, and then hustle culture, and then
No more relationship.
yeah, it's like a cycle, you know. Do you feel like ultimately it will become like this, or it is that company's culture?
I think it is a global culture moving towards outcome based, because I think outcome based is essentially you want the feedback loop to be shorter, you want the reward to come quicker, and this is what the use of social media and media in general is training us to be. So then we will also instill this expectation in workplace. So it's inevitable, but then like what we discussed about work from home having quite a big con, I think for outcome-based workplace culture, that also means that the focus on human bonding will become extra important. But moving forward, I think that with AI becoming so prominent, I actually think that a lot of human values will double down to become even more important. Yeah. So I would like to believe in this one.
Any advice you have for entry-level workers?
I think the upcoming one and entry workers, you need to remember that because AI is literally coming to take over your job. So whatever good values or qualities that you have to make sure that will outshine anything. That is not replaceable by a machine. For example, I think moving forward, employers will emphasize on people with higher integrity. I Actually, I don't know why people kept saying that loyalty doesn't pay. Loyalty doesn't pay in a workplace where the boss doesn't have a loyalty or any good values towards you. But I think in the right workplace, I think loyalty actually pays.
Is it because people are saying that it's becoming more outcome based? People only care about your results, so they don't care whether you're loyal or you have integrity as long as you get the job done.
I think there are still a big group of people who values kindness and connection. Yeah, I think the future workplace is because everything else is getting so cold, right?
Yeah.
And so data driven, so number driven. I think people would crave for a very genuine connection and bond more, all those good values. For example, I'm fishing out a lot of people who do not have good personality to begin with, because no matter what skill you have, it will diminish a lot of, actually diminish the output. I would rather work with kind people who have consistent output, not great, than working with somebody who's less good and really good outcome. Only because the world is getting colder and then we needed that kind of warmth.
Yeah. The warmth becomes very precious.
Yeah, it becomes really precious. So I would say, like, to fresh grad, focus on building your own experience, your own character, understanding yourself, have more time away from anything that's very quick to be generated, and have your own critical thinking. I think critical thinking is going to be insanely precious and valuable.
Yeah, of course, all this is very important, but also very hard to show your employer when you are in the interview stage or
Yeah.
yeah, you know.
The interviews, I can't say anything because I've never been on a job interview. But I would say that if I were to be a fresh grad now, I would actually take a gap year. Because when GPT has so much knowledge that they could just share with you, you can ask any question and there's an answer. Nothing is unique anymore, right? Then I would try to make myself even more unique. I would travel around just to see how other people are living, because I think picking up those common knowledges from different countries, different culture is very useful when you want to work at a new job. Because after all, the human network effect is, I think, is the foundation of our economy. Is basically who you know and who you get to connect really well with will help you in your job. So if you have very high common knowledge, you know how to hold conversation with people who are interviewing you, I think you will make a really good impression that nothing can beat.
I do agree, when this becomes so normal, you are the one that can make yourself unique.
Yes, you have to be very authentic, actually. Because nothing else is. Because it's a very ridiculous state that we are in. You use AI to write email, and then there's also AI to read your email. So why are we communicating? Then just straight to the point, why are we putting up like a formal outlook that nobody is truly caring about the essence? So I think moving forward, all the gist and essence, the common sense that in the nuances not AI can catch, those are the best currencies.
Yeah. For me personally, I have one more sharing, is that to have insane curiosity.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes.
To
I
have
think that one is born.
It's not.
It's not much. I feel like insane curiosity is a superpower in today's world, and also in more so in the future. Kindness is a superpower.
It is.
If you have these two, and your next step is to find ways to tell people you have these two things.
Yes.
Yeah, it can be in a project, or it can be like in a gap year kind of experience. Yeah, I feel like these two things will really impress the interview world.
Yes,
Yeah.
definitely. One of our developers, he is using vibe coding to come up with all the small little passion project that he has. And I find it very impressive. I can imagine that if I'm an employer, seeing his passion projects using AI to build, I would want to hire him, knowing that he could bring something new into the company, and
Yeah.
that thoughts are not Googleable, not GPTable. Yeah, I would love that. But actually, also, execution is a very rare quality. Have you guys realized that? It's a new realization in workplace.
As in most people only talk, they don't do.
Yeah. Actually, if you are willing to execute, you already win the race
Yeah.
among so many
Yes.
people.
Yeah.
And it's something very simple, just like something that you can think of. You trust yourself enough to just do it. This is a very powerful tool that nobody can take away from you, and it's truly impressive.
Execute it even when you might make a mistake.
Yes. Like, just do it.
Maybe you can move to the last section. We want to ask about, in this kind of economy, like most people have 2 jobs, 3 jobs.
I'm the representative of that.
I believe you just now you shared that you received EPF for first time.
Before that, were you planning for your retirement?
Yeah.
You never think of that?
I have this thing that I always tell my mom. She always asks me to spend less and save more, and then I told her that it's making more than save some is the strategy. But I never plan. My goal is always to make good amount of money and then save a lot.
Yeah, so
I do
it's
agree.
like you are in the abundance mindset.
Yeah, abundance mindset and also having the discipline.
Yeah, I do agree on this making more part.
Yeah.
So do you invest in anything? Like,
I do not invest.
On yourself?
I think my money mindset is crazy conservative. I only focusing on making more, and that's it.
And
basically
you
means
save the
investing in
rest.
yourself.
Yeah, investing in myself. But I wish I could learn about investment into the financial market. I think this would be my biggest adulting roadblock. I feel like I'm less of an adult because I'm not investing. Yeah, but investing in myself and investing in the belief in MPG, I think this is an investment in self because if I do not work on MPG, I could have so much free time to do things that is casual and fun and no crying, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But for us, right, like both of us, we just turned into full time for DoitDuit. And to be honest, I didn't know it could feel so insecure.
Yeah.
Yeah, to go from having a fixed paycheck, the constant cash flow, I know next month I will have this amount of money coming into my bank, is different from, I know I will make money, but I don't know how much it is.
Yeah.
I feel like the security that we feel is different. So it's like when I look at like you all that you are so used to freelancing or I feel like, do you not plan for your retirement?
Oh, that would be too much to think about, you know? Because like you said, the financial insecurity is every month because you don't know what to expect next. So when you already have so much to think about, that means that you have to spend a lot of time to believe in working to get that money in. You wouldn't have time to think about retirement. You just give your best.
Yeah.
But if let's say there's a new policy that force you, the pay you receive will be lesser from freelancing job, and government will take it and put it into EPF, what do you think?
Yeah, sure.
Oh sure. Oh, so you are okay with it?
Yeah, I'm very go with the flow. Because I really think there is so much stressors in life. So things that I cannot control and I don't want to stress
Someone
about
will manage
it.
that stress for
Yeah.
Okay.
Just take it. I'll
Okay, so
focus
it's
on
actually
what
a
I
good
can.
thing
Making more.
that they are helping you to manage it, and then it's trusted.
I
because they
think
are
it's the
government.
most trusted. That's why I would do it. And when my friend said that if we can self-volunteer it, it's tax deductible. I would just do it. So because of EPF, I trust it fully, and I don't need to exercise critical thinking. Because with investment, I do need to.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, just to wrap things up, not sure what you guys think about the future of work. Do you think becoming more outcome based is secured in the longer term? What's your view? Leave comment down below. That's it for today. Thanks, Prestine, for coming to our podcast today. We are super pleasure to have you. And yeah, we'll see you in the next episode. Bye-bye.
And this
Bye-bye.
couch is comfy.
Right,
Wink,
eating
wink.
that one.
Wink.